Good evening. Welcome to the Committee for Government Audit and Oversight. I'm the chairperson, Councilwoman Donna Purvis, and I'm joined by my co-chair, Councilman Anthony Piaggiatini. We have in the chambers Councilman Leninger, Councilman JJ, Councilwoman Bass. We also have joining us virtually Councilwoman McCraney. If the clerk would read the disclaimer, please.
This meeting is being held pursuant to KR 61.826 and Council Rule 5A, read in full.
Thank you. We are going to do the pending legislation for 1, 2, and 3, items 1, 2, and 3 at the end. We have several appointments, and we do not want to hold up the appointees while we discuss legislation. So our first appointment is the appointment of Jerome Baker to the Juneteenth Jubilee Commission. May I have a motion, please? Second. Okay, it is probably motion and second. Ms. Jackson.
So the Juneteenth, Althea Jackson, Mayor Greenberg's office. The purpose of the Juneteenth Jubilee Commission is to facilitate the creation of an annual series of educational, cultural, and community-wide events for the purpose of increasing community awareness of the Juneteenth. There are anywhere from 15 members up to 21 members on this board, and they do serve a 3-year term. There is also a mayor or his designee. Metro Council has a seat on this board, and the president of the waterfront development. There are prescribed seats, residents who are engaged in field of education, the financial community, public health, arts, civic and business community, media, and who are just engaged in diversity, equity, and inclusion. We are asking for the appointment of Mr. Jerome Baker. Mr. Baker is an African-American male out of Council District 5. He is the founder of Baker and Associates. This company specializes in improving efficiencies. He was an associate director with the River City Drum Corps. He's very excited about the opportunity to be a part of this commission. He is here in chambers tonight to introduce himself to you all.
Good evening, council members. My name is Jerome Baker, and I want to thank you for my consideration to the appointment to the Juneteenth Jubilee Commission.
Will the Drum Corps be doing anything for Juneteenth in the celebration this year?
I think that I've approached this with most of the festivities already being planned. So I don't know if they'll have room this year, but I don't think that it'll be hard to work that in if requested.
Okay, all right. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Baker? Thank you for your services. Oh. Dr. McCraney, you have any questions for Mr. Baker?
I don't have a question, but I do want to let him know that I do serve on that commission, and I welcome him to the board. And he is invited to come with a lot of bright ideas, and so we're happy to have him. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you. I also like to recognize Councilman Kramer that is on the line virtually. There aren't any other questions. We can take a vote. This calls for voice vote. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Our next appointee is Dr. John Chenault to the Juneteenth Jubilee Commission. I'd like to get a motion.
Motion.
Thank you. All properly motioned and moved. Ms. Jackson?
So Dr. Chenault was unable to attend tonight, but he did prepare a statement that he asked me to read. So he said, unfortunately, I am not able to attend tonight's meeting. However, I want to address in this brief statement what I imagine are the two main questions about my pending appointment to the Juneteenth Commission. One, why I want to join the group. Two, what expertise do I bring to the table to address its mandate and mission. I was born in Cincinnati, Ohio, but I trace my Kentucky ancestral roots to an enslaved woman named Miranda, who was born in Madison County, Kentucky in 1790, 2 years before Kentucky became a state. Miranda endured 75 years of bondage on a plantation owned by one of Kentucky's most affluent and influential families. She was freed in 1865 and lived an additional 15 years. Miranda stands at the head of my paternal grandmother's ancestral lineage and is the earliest enslaved ancestor that I've been able to identify by name. Although I don't know her parents' name, they were both born in Kentucky, a fact that places my enslaved ancestors here before the American Revolution. Miranda's direct descendants include domestic workers, caterers, automobile mechanics, school teachers, military veterans that served in the Civil War and World War I and II, a computer programmer to physicians and me, an associate professor at a medical school. Juneteenth provides an opportunity for us to recognize and honor the sacrifices of Miranda and her ancestors, known and unknown, who endured and persevered to make our lives possible. It gives us a platform to address the long history of enslavement in this nation in ways that elevate and humanize our enslaved ancestors, whether we know their names or not. It is for this reason and purpose that I am offering to volunteer my time and energy to serve on the Juneteenth Commission. In terms of question number 2, what expertise do I bring to the table to address the Commission's mandate and mission? I've spent my entire life telling our story as a poet, playwright, musician, librettist, and social historian. My research into slavery and slave trade in particular has taken me to West Africa, Western Europe, the Caribbean, and Central America. I have visited and documented slave forts in Senegal and Ghana and ports of arrival in Puerto Rico, Cuba, and Panama. I earned 2 graduate degrees in Pan-African Studies to educate myself and others. My knowledge of this subject, therefore, is informed by academic study, archival research, travel, and attendance at national and international conferences. I welcome the opportunity to share my experience and expertise with the Juneteenth Commission in service of the City of Louisville. Thank you for your time and consideration, Dr. John Chenault.
Thank you. Very, very interesting. Does anyone have any questions regarding Dr. Chenault's history?
More Kentucky than Kentucky.
Yeah. All right. Well, it is time to vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you.
I've only been here 12 years.
Is it all? Okay. Our next appointee is Melissa Jacoby to the Louisville Downtown Management District Board. Can I get a motion,
Motion,
please?
second.
Did you do both?
Yeah, motion, I second.
Okay, all right. Properly motioned and moved. Ms. Jackson?
So the Downtown Management District provides supplemental safety, cleaning, and ambassadors to an area within the Central Business District. LDMD also promotes, markets, and advances the economic development, business, and residential vitality of downtown Louisville. To be a member, you have to be an owner or designee for a retail, residential, office building, parking facility, restaurant, or some type of food service facility, or the owner or operator of a hotel lodging facility. Melissa Jacoby is an owner of the Bourbon and Blush Salon Spa. She has experience with development and marketing. She has been a committed board member, and we are asking for the approval of this reappointment. Ms. Jacoby is here in the chambers to introduce herself.
Mr. Jacoby, would you like to?
Can I just clarify that? I'm sorry, Althea, this is an appointment, correct? Not a reappointment?
Reappointment.
Yes, appointment.
I'm sorry. This is for a, hold on.
It says
This is a
appointment.
reappointment.
It says appointment.
Yeah, ours says appointment. That's when you said reappointment.
I'm
that's
sorry.
No problem. I just want to make
Appointment.
sure we're.
It is for an
good.
appointment.
Okay.
I misread.
You're good, you're good.
You know, technical Ted was going to catch you.
Who?
I'm sorry, for an appointment.
Mr. Jacoby,
Yep.
would you like to speak?
I would just like to add that I own a downtown building as well and live downtown. So I own a business, I live downtown, and I own property downtown, so.
Good, good. All right. Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Jacoby? Yes, sir.
Thank you for your willingness to serve on the board. Thank you for advocating for downtown. Just curious as to your thoughts on, what would you like to see I mean, we've talked a lot, in this council about reinvigorating downtown and what that means and stuff. What are your thoughts on, what are maybe the top one or two things we need to do to focus on to get downtown humming again?
I think the homeless obviously is a huge issue, and more businesses.
Great.
Yeah. Tying in the hotel district with Nulu, some of those dead spots, I think would be beneficial.
Great. Agreed. Great. Thank you very much for your service. Appreciate it.
Yes, Councilman Leninger has a question.
Sorry.
Since you mentioned the problem with the homelessness crisis downtown, I would be curious if you would like to, help lead any kind of efforts on the board for finding support from the business community for some stability first solutions, get people off the streets and into treatment, get them into stable housing.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Thank you.
Anything else?
Any other questions? Dr. McCraney?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I would like to ask what are her thoughts about the redevelopment of the, what is that called down the waterfront? Is it phase 5 that's going on?
Phase 4.
Phase 3. I've advanced it quite a bit, haven't I?
It's 4. The latest one
Yes, the one that's going toward the west.
is 4.
And also, I want to know about the redevelopment project that the mayor has proposed for the
Belvedere?
Golf House. Yes, Belvedere. Please, could you remark on both of those?
Well, I don't know too much about, I know that they're doing some artwork down by the, I thought it was phase 3, but it may be phase 4. I'm actually great friends with Deb Belitsky, so, and she's in charge of the waterfront. So I could work a lot with her, but currently I'm not involved. I'm a new appointee, so I'm just getting involved.
Can you give me your opinion of those projects?
Oh, I think they're great. I think it's fantastic. I think it will continue to draw people down to downtown Louisville and also just, beautify along that way. I also created product down off of, I think it's 17th Street, so I'm very familiar with that area, and I think any improvements can be done in the West End needs to happen, for sure. Anything else?
Any other questions? So I have a question. You mentioned any improvement or changes should be done in the West End. Have you worked on any West End initiatives?
I have not.
Okay.
No.
Okay. All right. This is a roll call vote. All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next appointee is Joshua Moser to the Louisville Downtown Management District Board. Can I get? Thank you. Probably motion and moved. Ms. Jackson?
So Mr. Mosier is the Director of Asset Management. He has experience with asset management, of course, and corporate finance. He is a corporate finance professional. He worked previously with the Wayland Ventures Group. He's been the Director of Business Strategies with U of L. He is in the chambers to introduce himself to you. You want to come up? But we are asking for this appointment.
Good evening, Council. How are you tonight? Good to see you.
You want to share some information about yourself?
Sure. Name is Josh Mosier. Longtime resident for Louisville. Been here since I was 6 years old. Heavily involved. Have felt the need to serve and be involved with the community. For about 8 years of that, I was also the mayor of Brownsboro Farm, which is a sixth-class city in the East End. The last 8 years or so, been involved in housing, specifically senior housing, and then was able to make the transition over into residential and commercial development, historic rehabilitations with Wayland Ventures in the last 3 or 4 months. I have switched over to LDG Development as their Director of Asset Management. So they have a number of properties in downtown Louisville that we oversee and manage and such. And that is specifically developing and involving with the LIHTC low-income housing tax credit developments in the Russell neighborhoods and other parts of the area downtown.
Does anyone have any questions for? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you very much for your service. Just because you worked with Wayland and now with LDG, maybe an advocacy thing, if you want to take this as a question, opine, feel free. But we're looking for recommendations on how to make particularly downtown high-density residential development more attractive.
Sure.
For the development community to build, right? Whether that's, renovating some of these, under or unused office buildings into residential, or just generally making it a more high-density, developer-friendly climate to get more residential development downtown. So I think with your background, we would appreciate any recommendations you might have, both to the board and to the council, on how we can accomplish that. So,
Sure. Are you looking for recommendations now, or is that just a broad
if you
comment?
have one or two you'd like to share, that's fine, but you can also follow up with this afterwards.
Sure. I mean, there's no secret. We have a lot of vacant buildings downtown. There's opportunity for putting residential spaces within them, or even commercial spaces. I'm a big fan of reuse of properties, the character and construction of downtown Louisville. As somebody who's traveled across most of the continental U.S. and through Canada, you can't recreate what we have in our construction downtown. I'm a big advocate of saving it and repurposing it. But also from a city planning standpoint, not just creating an environment and an atmosphere for downtown that encourages people to move down here. Obviously, putting the resources downtown as far as solving our food desert problem that we have downtown. There's not a lot of places to find food, and honestly, it's a tragedy. But to be a livable space, It needs to be a walkable space. So places that I can walk down towards in corridors, meaning I can walk from somewhere to somewhere. There's stuff to do. There's stuff to be a part of my life that's downtown, and not just talking about events. I'm talking about green spaces, open spaces, activities, places for people to come and to gather and such. You know, the nice thing about Louisville is it's the biggest small town in the South. And so we've already kind of got that culture working towards us of community. I think a lot of that is just kind of building and developing on top of that.
You have a lot of experience, and I'm hoping with your experience that you can couple that with some creativity and bring something different downtown. As you mentioned, you want to be able to walk to, but we need something to walk to.
Sure.
So, yeah, you know, whether it's living or, you know, businesses, retail, we definitely need something. So I appreciate your efforts in working, and I hope you make downtown a place to be.
Thank you very much. I actually would like to tail on to part of one of the questions that was asked earlier about the expansion of the waterfront park and the third and the fourth developments towards the Portland neighborhood. As someone who worked on the residential development of Painters Row there at 15th and Lytle Street, that's butting right up against where that's going to be extending to, and having talked to a number of people in that neighborhood and who are around it, the excitement in that area for that development, for the waterfront to be expanding out there and connecting them with downtown and making them part of downtown is it's palpable. They're really excited for that.
So am I.
Yeah,
It's my
great.
district. Okay.
All right, thank you very much.
Councilman Leninger?
Yeah, I was wondering if you could maybe relate any thoughts you have about the state of public transit downtown as relate to your answer to Councilman Piangentini's question.
Sure. So I'm a fan of a well-running public transit system. One of my hobbies is travel. I love to travel to cities. Part of what I do in asset management is also kind of seeing what makes other cities vibe, where people are able to get around and what attracts them to that area. So I've used different services that weren't very attractive and others that worked out that were very efficient and clean and went well. I think that when we talk about public transportation, we just can't be thinking about TARC. I think that we have probably opportunities of expanding that vision to like trolleys, light rail, stuff like that maybe functions a little bit more seamlessly with the local traffic patterns and with more ease off and on off of those. But again, I think it goes into that vision of how somebody gets around within the city. We can't have it be to where they have to just like get into their car and then go from one place to another, but park at one of the central locations, hop on something that's public transit and be able to tie them in with any part of downtown within a few minutes is, I think, a fantastic idea.
So, but you would say that regardless of different forms of transit, the current service in downtown is not adequate to the needs of an expanding and improving downtown, both in terms of residential and commercial.
I do not believe that it is. I think that maybe there's a little bit of, if instead of like a wholesale replacement, maybe something of a reinventing of it. I think that there are models out there worth pursuing. Thank you.
Thank you. Ready to take a vote? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
No, you don't have to be here. I'll be in touch. Thank you for being here.
Our next appointment is Kelly Stallard Watson to the Louisville Downtown Management District Board. I need a,
Motion to approve.
Second.
thank you. It's been properly motioned and approved. Ms. Jackson?
So Ms. Watson had a conflict tonight, but we still would like to move forward with her appointment. Ms. Watson is an attorney with MSD. She was the past general counsel and legislative liaison for Metro government. She has served in other capacities as an attorney. She is very active in the community. She has just various experiences with setting strategy, with working in policy. And so we would like to move forward with her appointment, even though that she was unable to be here tonight.
Does anyone have any questions regarding Ms. Watson?
11.
Okay, no questions. We can take a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed? The ayes have it. Our next is a reappointment of Matt Ayers to the Louisville Downtown Management District Board.
Motion.
Been properly motion and second. Ms. Jackson?
So Mr. Ayers, Metro Council District 19, he is the Chief Administrative Officer with Norton Healthcare. He has his master's in business administration. We know that Norton's is a big presence in the downtown area. He is here in the chambers to introduce himself.
Good evening.
Good evening.
As mentioned, I'm Matt Ayers. I'm the Chief Administrative Officer for Norton Hospital, our downtown location for Norton Healthcare. I've been the administrator there for over 10 years, with Norton Healthcare for over 20, and lived in Louisville for 23 years now, so in the Middletown area.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, usually I don't have questions, and I don't have questions for reappointments because we just appreciate your ongoing service. But just want to say, do appreciate all of Norton's work and their commitment to the area. And also, maybe just the ability to advocate for the continued LUMED work and the expansion of, let's call it the connection of LUMED to New Lou to downtown, right? So finishing that work, but then figuring out a way to make sure it's all connected to that overall downtown structure. I'm very happy for that. I know Norton has done a great job in advocating for that, so really appreciate it, and thanks for your ongoing service to the board.
Yeah, I appreciate that. One of the founding members of LUMED, and certainly proud of what we've done with the partnership of the council and mayor's office and the state and the business partners. We're proud of our work and certainly looking forward to the opportunity to do much more in the future. So thank you for that.
I don't want to keep you any longer than you should be here, so I'm good. Any other questions? No? Okay, we can take a vote. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Thank you, sir, for your work. Our next reappointment is Sean Crofton to the Louisville Downtown Management District Board.
Motion.
Thank you. Ms. Jackson?
So Mr. Crofton is the Director of Operations with 4th Street Live. We all know about 4th Street Live and their presence in the downtown area. I'll just have him to come up and introduce himself to you. I won't go into and bore you with everything, but he is here to introduce himself.
Hello, I'm Sean Crofton, Director of Operations, 4th Street Live. I think we're anything but boring, so, but thank you for considering me for reappointment.
Just because there's a coincidental connection here, I went to Washington and Lee University.
Okay.
Just almost almost at the exact same time. I was there 95 to 99. So,
Oh, man, that would have been trouble.
So, and then did you grow up in New Jersey or did you?
No, I grew up in Virginia Beach. I moved
Okay.
up to New Jersey in, I think, 2010 with Bonefish Grill, actually. So
Okay.
Spent about 8 years there in that New Brunswick area before moving to D.C. and then to St. Louis and then here to Louisville for the
I
last
was
almost
born in
3
St.
years.
Peters in New Brunswick, grew up in Somerset, one town over, and then moved here about 12 years ago. So I just saw some of the connections. It's nice to see an East Coaster moving this way as well.
Yeah,
So,
you know, sometimes I miss the coast, but I've really enjoyed the last, I guess, it's been about 5 years living in the Midwest. It's been great.
Yeah, great to have you. And thanks for your continued
Absolutely.
commitment to the board here.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Really enjoyed it. So.
Yep.
Any other questions? Okay, we can take a vote. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Our next reappointment is Josh Zick to the Louisville Downtown Management District Board. Thank you. Probably motion and second. Ms. Jackson?
So Josh is the CFO with the AJS Hotels. Prior to that, he was the regional manager for Thornton's Inc. He was a public accountant for 10 years. He is here in the chambers to introduce himself to you all.
Hi, I'm Josh Zick. I'm actually the president and CEO of the Al J. Schneider Company, but have been the CFO for the past few years. But, you know, glad to serve. Open to any questions you've got about me. Well, this is easy.
Any questions?
No New Jersey connection, so I got nothing for you.
Yeah, no, I'm Kentuckian, so
Well, thanks for your ongoing service.
you bet.
Okay. Yes, sir.
I saw in your resume that you listed your first work experience being campaign manager as a inveterate political hack. Myself, I was curious what campaigns you worked on.
So started out as an intern in the Senate, then I worked for Steve Nunn for governor, and then from there I went to Ben Chandler for governor and Ben Chandler for Congress. So I've worked on both sides.
Yeah.
But exciting time, just didn't pay very well.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
If there aren't any questions, we can go ahead and take a vote. All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Welcome, sir. Thank you. Our last appointment of the evening is Dion Templeton to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund Board. Thank you. Ms. Jackson?
So Dion Templeton's has been presented to GOA. It was presented, tabled, held, back. Now it's back again. And so we are asking to move forward with her appointment in light of the letter that she wrote. And so we would like to move forward with her.
I think we're going to have some feedback from Councilman Kramer.
Yeah, I wanted to, my hand was up. Donna.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know who was first. You all want to do, what's that? Snap the chaperone?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I just want to speak really quick on this, and that is, you know, I understand, I'm not quite for certain if she was asked to write a letter or anything, but irregardless what this letter states, I sit on the Affordable Trust Fund Board, and that board, we made that ordinance to where whoever sits on that board is allowed to get funds. Period, point blank. That letter, it would still be null and void. It doesn't make a difference. If this young lady is placed on this board, she should still be able to obtain funds until Metro Council does their due diligence in changing that. I don't think that this appointment should be held up another day. I think that I will be in support for this young lady to get on this board, and I will ask that Metro Council does the work that we need to do to change the wording or change what we need to change in their rules that they have, and not hold anybody else up in, that goes on this board until we do the due diligence that we need to do as council members to change that. I don't think that she should be affected by that another day.
Thank you for your comments, Councilwoman Hawkins. Councilman Kramer?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And thank you,